Hi everybody, today I'm going to talk about the difference between entering notes and rest in replace mode and in insert mode, and the differences between each. Not that one is necessarily better than the other, but just to make you aware of what you can do with this program. I'm going to hit your screen when it defaults is going to look like this, and you'll see this icon right here that has a half note and then a quarter note with an X through it. This is in what's called replace mode. And what replace mode is going to do is if you're composing and you need to change a rhythm in your score, some sort of rhythmic value. Let's say that you're writing a piece and you realize that this needs to be a whole note, and it's obviously going to affect the remainder of your score with whatever you have after this. In replace mode, what's going to happen is if I click on this note A and I want to change this to a whole note, it's going to eat up the value of the whole measure to allow for however long this rhythm lasts. I'll undo that so you can see it again. So I'm going to lose the G, I'm going to lose the F, but the E is going to stay in the next bar. So change that to whole note. That's one way of modifying notes in your score if you have to change something. Another way is going to be if you switch this, and again, you just click right on this half note and the X right through it. If you go down to insert mode, what's going to happen is if I want to do that same thing, I want to go to this A and I want to change this to a whole note, it's going to keep everything that I had after it, but then just shift it down until wherever this duration ends. I'll erase that again. This is what I had before. Oops. I'll click on that A, change it to whole note. I keep my G, F, E. It just shifts everything down. However long you insert this. If I even go before it, even if it's improper notation, right? On beat 2, I'm gonna change this note to a whole note. Well, it already takes care of the dot and ties it over, and then shifts everything down. If I do it in replace mode, where let's say I want to take this note and then make this a whole note, bang. It just swallows up that whole measure, and then everything that I had after that. So let's go back. This D, C, or the C, B, A right here, I lose all of that because I'm replacing it with that value that I'm changing it to. If I make it a value that's shorter, like eighth note, it's going to fill the remaining part of the measure up with rests. If I'm back in insert mode and I do the same thing, it's going to bring all of the values back to where that note ends. So again, edit. This normally starts on the downbeat of 1, but if I realized I was transcribing and, whoops, I was off by 3.5 beats and I need to change this to eighth note, it's going to slide everything back. Again, not that one way is correct, but they both exist, and it's going to be helpful for you when you're adding notes into your score. And then if you click on this toggle insert mode right here, this is where you'll have the ability to add rests. So if I click on whole note and click on rest, then there it is. Boom. Change this to half rest, insert rest, and then it's going to start shifting everything down because I'm in insert mode. If I go to replace and I want to change this to a whole note rest, click on this note right here, whole note rest. It's going to shift everything else down just like it did with the notes. Okay, so that's replace mode and insert mode when entering notes into a score.